Is leadership coaching worth the money, or are you wasting your money on leadership development? Good question. And the answer is yes and no, of course, because no answer is ever that simple. No answer to a question like this is ever a little chunky soundbite like people want, like help me make the decision. I'm sorry, but it's yes and no. So yes, if you are investing in leadership training for yourself or your team once in a blue moon, then you're absolutely wasting your money, because one of the most challenging and intricate things to change is human behavior. So being told something once and understanding the concept and maybe putting it into practice a couple of times does not create lasting change or growth or learning. So, if you go on, you'll know yourself, if you've gone off and done how much, my mind's going everywhere. How much do you remember from sitting in high school math, for example, or the last personal development course you did, if you do that kind of thing? So at the time, you've taken a million notes. There's 1,000 things you can do it. When you sit you down for your uni exams, you know everything that you need to say, hopefully, in that exam, because you've learnt it all once. But being able to put it into practice and being able to have it make a change in your life in some way requires consistent learning and consistent growth. And we do learn through repetition. And as much as I don't endorse rote learning and, lines and learning something over and over again just so that it's automatically in your brain. It does work. I still have my Army Reggie number clearly in my head, can rattle it off to anybody because I have said it so many times and it's been repeated in my brain so many times that it's there forever and ever. I'll probably say it on my deathbed. So it works, but it's boring as shit. So to move on to no, you're not wasting your money. So you're wasting your money if you engage a leadership coach or you put people on leadership training once in a while. It really doesn't make a huge difference. It's like saying, I'm going to start a diet on Monday and having a complete overhaul of your diet. It's unsustainable and it doesn't make small changes that contribute to big change in the end. So on the opposite side of that, of course, is if you're regularly engaging in training. So this can be in-house training. So like I always say, if the leader is the one getting the training or coaching, or the manager or the the person that's in charge of that team in whatever capacity are the one getting the training and coaching, then they obviously can spread it throughout their team. Oh, there we are. I was just looking for my time clock. I was like, oh, I'm all good. You know what I mean? So then they can be the one to spread it through. So, but this must be something that you engage in regularly. People very quickly go back to old habits. So, for example, if you're not getting your team on training, at least once a quarter, like once a quarter minimum, then you are wasting your money and you should put it somewhere else. But if you want to grow your people, grow yourself so that you can grow your business, so that your life gets easier, so that your life gets better, then you need to engage in it at minimum once a quarter. I speak to some of my clients weekly and some fortnightly, and I train with others, monthly, quarterly, depending on how their companies are structured. But you need to be consistent. So if you are consistent with your leadership development, then it is absolutely not a waste of money. In my opinion, it is probably the best money you'll spend, because people are the basis for everything. And, like I said, getting in on that human behavior level, bringing the basics of human behavior into businesses and corporate structures is what makes real change, not the overlying structure, which you hear me say all the time. So if I'm going to relate this to something that that is a story that makes sense to people. It's, if you think of an athlete, like think of the top level Olympic athletes who are, gosh, when you think of swimming, they kind of go down to the 100th of a second. Their improvements and their lags are so minor. And they practice for those teeny tiny little changes, because they understand that, the tiniest little shift, the tiniest little millimeter, the tiniest little 100th of a second can be the difference between a gold medal or a bronze medal or no medal at all. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's the tiny little things that make the difference. So even though they obviously fucking know how to swim, right? You know how to lead, you know how to talk to people, whatever, but you can always refine and get better and better and better so that you are on top of your game, so that 100th of a second is making a difference to to you when you need it, because when you're learning it is not when you need it. It's when the situation arises and you have to react quickly, under pressure, make good decisions and be okay with them and not have them keep you up at night, that your training comes into fruition. So yeah, I always say the battle doesn't happen on the battlefield, it happens in the training before you get there. It's completely automatic, as it should be when you've been well trained. Okay, so that's it. I'll just quickly look at my notes. Yeah, so my answer to the question is yes. If you're doing it once in a blue moon, it is a complete fucking waste of time. It's like eating greens on a Monday and McDonald's for the rest of the week. But if you are consistently engaging in it, like, 80-20 rule, 80% of the time you are open to learning, engaging in learning, 20% of the time you're in action, then it is absolutely the best money you'll ever spend. So go forth, find your trainer. Thanks, guys. Bye.